Okay, so in this video I'm just showing you how to clean Barry's like home, like her little cage area. So you need paper towel, a washcloth, warm soapy water, and I do use a disinfectant, but I wash off the disinfectant after I use it because the chemicals can be too harsh for her lungs. And just make sure you have a garbage can nearby. So this is the best kind of angle I can send or film this. So I like to put blankets over her like little home in here because she prefers it to be dark. And so I'm just gonna use this as to put her dirty laundry in this bin because I don't want to just put it on my floor. And what I like to do is I take her home like this, I flip it upside down, and then I use one of the like clothes that I have for her that's not as dirty, and I put it into her home, and then I take Barry out and just grab her from underneath that, and then I just put her in here while I'm cleaning, and I try to cover her up as well, like that. So while I'm cleaning, I like to take out everything, give it a shake because she might have pooped on it. And like her food and water bowls, I would recommend every day when you wash her wheel, also wash the food and water bowls. So what I do with the food, if it's still like clean, I'll dump the food onto a paper towel, clean the dish out with soap and water, warm soap and water, and then I'll put the food back in. But if the food has like poop in it, then just throw it out. Yeah, and she pooped on her little friend here. Nice. Take out the wheel. It's super dirty right now. If you can see, there's literally a piece of poop. So I'm gonna set it down on paper towel because I don't want it to wreck my floor or anything. And so if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a lot of poop just kind of stuck to her blanket. So I just kind of give it a shake. And then I use the same blanket to like, so I don't have to touch anything. And I just rub off the little pieces of poop. And the more you spot clean throughout the week, the less poop there will be at the end of the week or at whenever you change her like cage out. So 2 to 3 times a week. The more you spot clean in the morning, the easier it will be. And I'm just putting that into this bucket. Then after that, take the bin and I tap all the poop into one corner so then I can easily dump it into a garbage can. Since I don't really have a garbage can here with me, I'm just gonna dump it onto a paper towels and then just throw those out after. It's okay. So I'm gonna try and be really careful with this because I don't want to get poop all over my floor. But you could just sweep it or like vacuum it up. There. And then I dumped out all the poop like that. Like all the chunks. And I'll just leave that there to throw out later. And as you can see, there's still a chunk in there. What I do, just take a little piece of paper towel because I don't want to touch it. And then just pick it up. And so what I'd like to do after I've done that, this is when I use the Lysol. You don't want to use too much because yeah, it can be harmful for her. But I just give like a couple sprays to actually kill any bacteria that might have come into contact with her bin here. So, oh, it's off. So a spray for each side basically. And this is when I would use the paper towel. And then I just rub it to make sure it gets every area. Make sure every part is clean. And it does have a pretty strong smell, so that's why I don't like to use much. Okay. And then and this is something that would just go in the garbage can as well. So now that we have this, what I like to do is this is when I take the rag. You can use rags for like a more sustainable option instead of using so much paper towel. That's totally fine. Up to you. And what I have here in this little bowl that I'm dipping into with the rag is not hot water, but like warm hot water, and it's with soap. That's all. And then I use that to wipe the inside. And normally I'd let the spray sit a little bit longer, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm just doing it right away. And I don't let it sit for too long, but you know, so it can kill the actual bacteria. Yeah, and this is what I would do at least once a week, but for what I would normally do is at least change like the towel that was laying on the bottom here. I would at least change that 2 to 3 times a week, and then at least once a week doing the full like actually disinfectant and cleaning. You can do that 2 to 3 times a week. Just the bare minimum would be once a week. But yeah, and I'll dip it into a bit more because I want to make sure there's no like a lot of residue of the disinfectant left, because it can affect her lungs and I don't want her to get sick or anything. But yeah, so now I'm just wiping it, making sure to get every little area. Like that. I'll just put this off to the side for now. Then I just use paper towel to dry it off. You can also just use a rag to dry it off as well, but I'm just using a paper towel. And sometimes what I do too, if I'm gonna let the disinfectant sit longer, I make sure not to put her blankets and stuff and any of her toys back in, because they can like kind of get the smell on them too from the disinfectant. Yeah, so there's that. And then I'm just gonna quickly grab the blankets that I used so I can show you how to set it back up since it's all dry now. Okay, so I usually use like one of my bigger towels that I have. And I just try to fit it to size, so this area here is a bit too long. And then I choose one side to fold it over to try and get it as similar size as possible. Let's try that. And I like to get it flat because when I'm putting the food on here, I don't want it to like accidentally fall or something. And if there's a lump, don't worry about that because it will be kind of like a bed for her. It'll make her feel comfortable. So what I do now, I don't like to keep her in this little bin for too long. So just take her gently. It's okay. Then I'll put her little house back on. And you can also put little, like, you can also stuff her house too, so she can hide. This is just an old pair of shorts that ripped. You don't have to use, like, ratchet blankets and stuff, but I just use that because a hedgehog doesn't really care if it's an old pair of shorts. But I just thought I may as well reuse them instead of just throwing them out. So this is what I would use to, like, stuff her cage with. So then she has a place to hide. It's okay. And she doesn't like that it's so light because there's a lot of sunlight getting through. She likes it when it's dark. So what I normally do is put like a towel or t-shirts or something over, like I've already mentioned before. Just so it's nice and dark for her. And you don't have to set it up the same way as me or anything like that. You can make it cuter. At first I was really big on making it look super cute for her, but yeah. And I always try to keep the food and water away from her wheel because she poops near that area. And one thing that I used to do a lot is I would set a towel underneath her food and water bowl, so if she accidentally spilled water or anything, it would just absorb it, and then I wouldn't have to change out this big towel underneath as often. And I also would put another towel underneath where I'm gonna put her wheel, so if she poops, then it will go on that towel, and then I could just change this one small towel instead of changing the whole big towel, right? But yeah, since I haven't cleaned out the wheel and the food containers yet, I'm not going to put them in there for her because I don't want her to use them. But I'm going to set this is just a paint towel that I've had. I'm just going to put this in here for her. So when I put her wheel down, it will go right here, and then her food and water will go over there. And her little mouse, I guess, can go back. I always put it in the corner, but yeah. And I have this little thing that I crocheted for her. I thought she would like maybe hide underneath it, but I crocheted it a little bit too small, so I don't really think she likes it. But sometimes I put it underneath in here, and it's nice and soft, and she likes that. But yeah, so this is basically it. So after, I would just clean the food dishes with warm water and soap. And then I also attach videos, like YouTube video links on how to clean the wheel, so I'll do that after. But yeah, that's basically it, how to do it. Just make sure there's not a lot of disinfectant smell still coming off, and make sure the bin is actually fully dry before you set a towel down, because it can absorb a lot of the disinfectant and then keep the smell in it, and it can affect her lungs. But yeah. She's trying to come out. She's so cute. All right.